It's December of 2023. Let's take a tour around the farm. You know, everybody has their reasons for doing social media, and like the short content, like the TikTok and the Reels, I think those are to feed my passion just for sharing information, especially information about agriculture. But I feel like with the longer content, I've been able to show more. And I feel like with these farm tours, what I really want to be able to do is have something that my boys can look back on and say, wow, this is like what Dad was doing in December of 2023. And so, Dusty, Carson, Tomcat, if you're watching this, no matter what year it was, this is what the farm looked like in December of 2023. We started a ton of 1 gallon strawberry plants, and these will be for resale in the spring. And then we have a few grapevines that are some kind of experimental varieties with the extension agent. We'll plant those in January, next month. Okay, in the store today is pretty busy, but this is typically our, or at least what it looks like this December. Got some gift buckets that Mrs. Farmer Froberg made and some of her homemade garland. We got a restock on our cookies and little pecan pies. These are house made here at the farm. Some candy and pecans. Of course, produce. It's a big pecan time right now, December. We have our fresh greens, mustards and turnips. We went out and picked this morning, so they look pretty good. I brought those sweet potatoes back yesterday from another farm north of Houston. Looking awesome. These flowers are left over from the fall festival for the U-Pick. And I mean, they're just beautiful. And we've picked a few bouquets. Mrs. Farmer Froberg has tried doing a few little things with them, but we just haven't found a great use for them. Of course, the pollinators are loving them, which is a good use. But drop your ideas in the comments on, you know, what we could do if we just went through here and picked every single flower in here. Sandbags are full. This is to put in the centers of our rows, the furrows, to hold down the frost cloth when we cover the strawberries. That frost cloth will protect our plants or the fruit from frost, and then the plants, if it was to get super cold. Strawberries are pretty cold hardy, so we don't as much worry about the plants, but these sandbags will hold down the cloth. Nothing like some December strawberries. Oh, there's more. The field really is just so nice this time of year. We've had the time to go through and just, you know, clean up any weeds, make sure everything is just looking perfect. We planted these onions one morning, and then it started raining afterwards, and it gave them a good start. They just look really good. Of course, we got some turnips, one of our favorite things to grow this time of year. People in the South just eat a lot of greens, and of course, this is the best time of year to grow them, so that really works out for us as vegetable farmers. We do have some cabbage. This cabbage was direct seeded, which isn't necessarily the best way to do cabbage. You can see some sections is a nice stand. You have a few little gaps, but it still looks good. You can see it wants to head up. It's really trying. We're probably not going to make New Year's on this. I would be hard pressed to think. There's a little head in there, so we might have a couple just like little tiny, like softball size heads of cabbage, but overall it doesn't look bad. This right here is the star of the show, though. The one, the only, the mustard green. I mean, it really does look good. We grow the Florida broadleaf, just a big giant leaf. Perfect peppery taste. And we just cut them. We terminally harvest these, meaning we harvest them at the base and just bunch the whole plant. They're popular this time of year. Betabel, also known as beets. Looking good. Our plan for these is to pickle them. We're probably not going to do a ton of bunches of beets, but use them in the kitchen and just make a bunch of pickled beets. Now, I've shown these multiplying onions before, but this is the update on them. This is how they look. They look really good. We're probably going to start pulling some in the next 10 days or so. You can see how they multiply. This was just one little stem. I made one giant onion and it started to multiply. And there's good seasons and bad seasons from them. Everything's got to be perfect for them to make like a big, like 4 onion bunch. But either way, we'll hold back a certain percentage of them, maybe 10%, and plant them back out so that we can keep them going. That's also some dried okra. Cousin Heston went out and harvested some of that seed yesterday. I think we should have gotten enough for next year. We might pick a little bit more of it. We did take this little field and turn it into a parking lot. We rolled it, scraped it. We're gonna let the vegetation start growing over it and just mowing it. We ran out of parking last strawberry season and got really close to running out of parking for our fall season this year. And so we added this parking lot, which is approximately 100 to 120 more spots, which is gonna help a lot. These new blackberries that were planted this last spring are starting to really put some vegetation on. We've been super busy, so we definitely need to run trellises, mow, get it all cleaned up, but the blackberries are looking good. So we planted this corn specifically to pick the stalks to sell as decorations in the fall, but the corn that ended up growing in this little patch from the stalks that we didn't pick, that's a good looking ear of corn right there. It's a little muddy, let's not get stuck. The trick is just drive fast, drive quickly. Christmas Tree Farm. Got some pre-cuts still set up. Had a few people today, not too bad. Shaking a tree there. Kiko and Renee doing some shaking. These were cut out of the field. Joel's driving. We're gonna head out to into the tree field and see how it's going out here. This little section right here is the only trees that we lost during the drought this summer. See, everything else fared really well. These are all next year's trees. We didn't lose any of this year's trees to the drought. Less, I would say, I say we didn't lose any, maybe less than 10, which is fantastic. These are all next year's trees. Here was this year's field. Just a few left. It's been a fun season. Why does it feel like one day that oak tree will be iconic? It's been a little wet. Time to pick off a tree, and they wanted a little ornament made, so we cut them off a little piece of the base. Muscadines are looking pretty good. It's about time for them to start losing their leaves, and so you can see they're kind of starting to discolor. A couple vines we got at the other farm have already completely lost their leaves. But these, you can tell, have grown a lot over the last year. They were planted almost a year ago. I think a year ago we were making the rows, and then we planted them in January. So they've been in the ground about 11 months. We're also burning a few trees out there, just some of the junk trees in that little wooded area. We got a secret project going on out there. It's gonna stay wooded. We're gonna keep all those trees. But we're excited for what's to come out there. And then here's the next little field for our next round of Christmas trees. This will be the new fig orchard. You can actually see that wheat oats in there as a cover crop. I mowed it down the other day and we got a rain on it. It's coming back, but you can see the rows where we're gonna plant the new figs. About 1,000 trees will be in here. We just got our next batch of chickens in and a few guinea fowl. These are all red Novagens. And they look pretty good. We had a 0% mortality rate coming out of the box. So not bad.